Okie dokie. Yay. Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. YouTube was giving me the refresh the page. I had to refresh the page like 75 times. That's a bit of an exaggeration. I think I refreshed it 4 times. How are you all? Oh, thank you, Paul. Yes, I think if Matt is watching, which I hope he is, can you put up that TEC? Can you put up the TEC Tech Award, please? That would be amazing. It'd be amazing if you could vote for us. We've got some pretty stiff competition. I think it's like 6 people in the category, and there's lots of people with very, very big PR machines. Hello, we don't have a big PR machine. We just have an amazing, amazing community. All of you are an incredible community. We haven't got quite as far as to hire PR people yet. You won't see us in Forbes magazine, unfortunately. But maybe one day, maybe they'll come knocking on our door. Who knows? All that really matters to us is you. You are an incredible community. And look at this. John's in Wales. Gorche's in California. Wow. Cambodia. That's amazing. Spain. Absolutely beautiful. For education, Matt's going to put it up. So you can go and vote for us. He'll put it up here. David's already voted. Hello in Virginia. Wow. Keith. Sebastian. Soren. Yes, please, Matt, put it up. I'm going to please put up the Tech Award link now. Thank you. Sheila, Jürgen, Lisa, I don't know, URL Tom, I presume that's Tom. I presume it's Tom, yes? I'm reading it over here. I should probably put this chat right in front of us. Hey, Eric, I need some caffeination across the nation today. Didn't sleep that much. Russia, wow. Of course, Alexi, I know you're in Russia. Joshua's in Cape Town. Beautiful. Chuck's in Chicago. Kavka is in Toronto. There it is. So click on that. Please click on that. From rainy England. Belgium. Uruguay or Uruguay. That's amazing. Chile or Chile. I don't know how you pronounce it properly. I'm sorry. Portland. Which Portland? You in Portland, Oregon or Portland, Maine? We're about to go to Portland, Maine. San Francisco. We just left there. We were there last weekend. Thanks, Mark. Hello in Brazil, Latvia, Scotland. So yes, please go and vote for us in that Tech Award. We have some stiff competition. I think Hal Leonard's got like 3 of the 6 things. So, you know, we've got a lot of stiff competition, but please, it would be absolutely amazing. We try to do as much as we can for free. Palm Beach, Peter says hello. Yeah, Cafe Nation across the nation. Finland. Oh, I love Finland. Paderborn in Germany, of course, Mark. Thank you, Alex. Cold Indiana. Hunter, where in cold Indiana or Indiana are you? Hanover, Sweden, Seattle, France, Slovenia. Where did I go to San Francisco? I went to see Michael Romanowski, who's one of our masters of mastering. He's absolutely amazing. Now, Sam is giving me... Sam is asking me a question. France, Argentina, Israel, Stuttgart. Clay, I'm sure we'll get to the wide awake. That's an Eric question. Clay is saying, can you... I think he's making coffee. We'll make sure he knows. Right on, Robert. Hello in Helsinki. More Wales. Detroit. Indonesia. Oh, wow. Moscow. Wonderful. Oh, you're in Bloomington? Hunter, you're in Bloomington. I know Bloomington very, very well. Are you at college there? You know, I've made about 4 or 5 records at Echo Park. So are you at the college? Do you know Stucker? Do you know my good friend Stucker? I think I was talking to yesterday. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of mastering stuff coming out. We're doing a mastering We're doing a Masters of Mastering. Thank you, Robert. Yes, please vote on the Tech Awards. I'll have Matt put it up over and over again so you can see it. Oh, Asbury Park. Wow. Belgium. Jan from Belgium. Germany. Wow. Pittsburgh, Allentown, Kenya, France, Karlstad in Sweden, Brazil, South Africa, Florida, India, Germany, Brazil. Ecuador, Chapel Hill, Tunbridge Wells, Brazil, Ludlow, and there's the voting again. All right, Punjab, Portugal. Sam, I'm live streaming. Sam's texting me like crazy. Youngstown, Ohio, North Carolina, Vancouver, Philadelphia, Mars. Third Power Productions is in Mars, and more Uruguay, and Bolivia, and West Virginia, Netherlands. Hello from 10,000 feet. Thank you. Johnny has voted for us. So please, yes, hit on the Tech Awards, which Matt will put up again. There it is. And let us know. Hello from Waves in Israel. Hey, Deckel. All right, let's get back to the song. Thank you for being on the call, Waves. I really appreciate it. Okay. So we're going to open up. As you know, we're only mixing using Wave plugin this time. We've been doing this with various different ones. So if you have any Waves questions, we have somebody from Waves there. I think this is a perfect time to ask some Waves questions. Okie dokie. Let me just open up our OBS so we can go back to the... Hey, I'm up here. Okay. As you know, I mix this live streaming. So what does that mean? That means I haven't listened to it since then. The last time I listened to the song was when I was working on it. I've only mixed these songs on live streaming using the plugins that we choose. In this instance, we used Wave plugins only, and I'm using Blue Lolas. They're relatively inexpensive. I'm talking to you on a Lewitt mic. Again, this is like their cheapest mic, their $99 mic. And everything in this session is a Lewitt mic. Is a Waves plugin. The only thing that isn't is I am using something fancy on my mic to mute. That's it. Everything else in the mix, the actual audio, is all Waves. So I'm going to listen to it again so I can get back into the song. So let's get through an intro, a verse, and a chorus.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. We push and pull and won't let go. It's a never-ending merry come and go around once more. And know you're so insatiable, so take me down again. Moaning, screaming, don't pretend. Wanna hear my name through gritted teeth and a heavy breath. Just lose yourself with me and you, and tell me what you wanna do, and we'll dance along the satin till the morning. And I can only hope that what you see is you and me, and never letting go. I'm gonna tear you down so hard, you're gonna be calling out for God, and He's gonna let you know He's looking down, and just keep going. So take me down again. Moaning, screaming, don't pretend. Wanna hear my name through gritted teeth and a heavy breath. what you wanna do, and we'll dance along the satin till the morning. Yeah, whoa.
All right, I was listening to that for quite a long time, basically because I really enjoy this. It is fun when you get to mix music that you've made or somebody else has made that has really good performances. There's a few things. Now, we talked about this last time. We haven't done any automation on this whatsoever. If you look across here, right, if I just put everything into volume, there is no automation on anything. Nothing. You see, there's no volume automation. And basically, this is the reason for this is this is a real performance by real musicians. So what I was trying to do was get the balance so it feels good, because these are real players playing together. There's not really any virtual instruments in here. I don't believe there's any. Oh, there's the Nord, which isn't virtual, but it's played. Everything else is a performance-based. Now, don't get me wrong. As you know, those of you that are Academy members do know that inside of the Academy, we have a lot of program stuff. We have a song, some songs which are like 2-track drums, just like a stereo drum mix. We have stuff that's recorded at Sunset Sound or United or anything like that, where there is like 15, 16, 17, 18 mics on the drums. We have every variation. And then, of course, stuff that's done here is just kick, snare top, snare bottom, hi-hat, tom-tom, overhead, overhead. And maybe the vocal mic opened up for a quote-unquote room mic. Also, so there's no one way of doing anything. Program drums, whatever. But in this instance, I am trying my darndest to mix the song only using automation at the end to encourage the already there performances. If you notice, when we did the organ, for instance, we didn't want to compress it too much, because the dynamics that are here, if you see in here, the dynamics here are, there's about 3 or 4 dB worth of dynamics here. If I was to compress it by 2 dB, the dynamics are gone. So the way that he's playing in this solo here.
But in shadow you advance across a room of failed addiction, and you've got me Joan.
That little run, that little volume swell, if I was to apply 2 or 3 dBs worth of gain reduction to it, what would I have to do? I'd have to then automate it back again. This is, we're looking at this as an overview. It's like using plugins subtly, understanding when to use them and how to use them, and preserving performances. Now, a lot of this stuff is, on an amp, but there are DIs as well. I mean, for instance, you can see the dynamics in an electric guitar DI, but when it's recorded here with a gentle amount of compression, well, it's about 3 to 4 dBs worth of compression. So that's one person's gentles, another person's a lot. That's where I think we're going to end up doing the most amount of automation. We're going to do the most amount on the vocal and the electric guitar, because you see the strings have great dynamics. The Nord has some good dynamics. The vocal is relatively dynamic, but it is getting a little bit of compression coming in on the choruses. So we're probably going to have to push that a little bit in the choruses, and definitely the guitar solo. And then typically I might push the snare where it gets busier a little bit, and also snare verb, just when things get a bit busier. Same thing with the vocal effects. They will come up in the chorus sections where the music gets denser. Let me just adjust this. There you go. Now I'm more in the middle. Okay, so let's have some fun. Before we get into any more automation, I do want to mess up this double a little bit. Have a listen to double.
So take me down again, moaning, screaming, don't pretend.
It's a little dark.
So take me down again, moaning, screaming, don't pretend.
Some of it gets a little lost there. So I'm actually going to do another EQ. So we'll go and get another REQ and do something a little similar. You know what? Before I do that, I'm actually going to copy a de-esser across. So what I've done now is I've doubled that de-esser.
So take me down again, moaning, screaming, don't.
Cool. So we've brightened it, and we've compressed it, but I'm allowing it I'm putting a de-esser on it so the overall vocal's brighter, but it's not exaggerating S's and T's and stuff that we don't like. Okay, and I'm going to roll off a little bit heavier on the low end. In a vocal on a lead, I like a little extra 200 sometimes. I won't take off the 200. I like a little little girth on the bottom of the vocal. But for the double, it's going to come off.
So take me down again, moaning, screaming, don't pretend.
Now put it in with the lead.
So take me down again, moaning, screaming, don't pretend. Wanna hear my name through gritted teeth and a heavy breath.
It's much nicer to me. Now let's hear it in the track.
So take me down again, moaning, screaming, don't pretend. Wanna hear my name through gritted teeth and a heavy breath.
Now, Academy members, you do know, I know you guys and girls know this track is available for download in the Academy this month. This is the one that we're doing for December. So, and of course, I did another breakdown talking about how I mixed it, in a more hybrid fashion as well. So between these videos and the video that's inside of the Academy members are going to have a pretty good time of figuring out, how the best way to mix it. Honestly, with this, what we've done is every time we work in different ways, I never repeat myself. Well, I do repeat myself. That's not what I mean. I mean is I want to continually prove that there's not just one way of mixing. On the drums in particular, we were talking about this on the last video, I'm not doing any parallel. And I'm not even bussing the full kit. I'm bussing elements of the kit. Now, don't get me wrong. Most of the time, I bus all of the drums together. I didn't on this because, again, if you start with the drums and you flatten line all of the drums so that everything is perfectly even and you get it into that element where it's just like boom, crack, every kick and every snare is like equal volume, there's no grace notes, everything is just slamming, that's great. But with a song like this, it's going to completely destroy all of the subtlety. That's why in this, and please go and watch all the other streams with the Waves plugin ones. If you watch all of those, you'll notice I've been trying to move from instrument to instrument and try to preserve the performances. And once again, I think the only two performances that we're going to have to work hard on volume-wise are going to be the vocal, although I think the double is helping in the chorus, the vocal, but predominantly the lead guitar, because the lead guitar has a compression on it, a saturation going through an amp. Remember, that isn't all compression. Don't be fooled believing that just because these waveforms look a little squashed. Listen to the tone. This is un-EQ'd, uncompressed. You hear that fatness? Well, that's the Marshall. The Marshall is overdriven, so a lot of the transients are being soaked up. You can see the DI above here, and you see how unbelievably dynamic it is. Well, the amp has got a little bit more of that. So if I was to dig in heavier on the guitar when I was playing, the heavier I dig in, it wouldn't necessarily give me that much more volume. It would just give me more distortion. So this is an instance where I am going to have to do, some automation to combat the fact that as a guitar player, I couldn't play as dynamically as Steve is doing here on the B3, or he did on the Nord, because these were uncompressed going in and they weren't going through amps that had saturation or distortion. The same thing for the strings. Those were directly played from the Nord. The saxophone, on the other hand, is pretty darn dynamic. And that is the room that's printed. Have a listen. And I'm actually going to, I didn't do it before, but I should have. I'm going to pan it slightly to the right because, of course, the electric is panned slightly to the left. There's a logical thing we missed out last time. And there's moments like that where the sax and the vocal are competing a little bit, which is absolutely fine. Again, we need to get into automation on that. So I think the lesson so far on this, if you've been watching all the streams, and if you haven't, please go back and see them. I'm sure Matt's going to create a playlist for this if he hasn't already. I'm not looking at the chat at the moment. I'm too busy waffling on. But what I would say, if you go back through the playlist on these ones, you'll see how we got to this point on the song. And I think it's really important to sort of like understand the choices that we've made. Because the one thing I think that's missed in all of the mixing videos I see is context. It's got to be about context, this song demands a different kind of mix than one with slamming EDM drums or a metal song. There is no one way to do this. So we've got people talking about the Waves upgrade. All drums need 18 mics. Sometimes. Who is the artist? It's Steve Magora, who has been with us for ages. He's the guy with sometimes has the afro. Black coffee. God bless it. We're going to do a really great interview after this. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Rotary on a sax could be good. We printed the room, so we got, got some great stuff with that. Okay. Well, look, let's do a giveaway. Because we're about 25 minutes in. Let's do our first giveaway. Now, what we've decided to do, let's have a look at Matt's text. We're going to do the mixing in the box with Phil Allen. So Phil is my old engineer. He's also my daughter's godfather. So he's a very close family friend. And he's done a lot of courses with us and a lot of videos with us. He won a Grammy for recording Someone Like You by Adele, which I believe was the biggest selling single of whatever couple of years it was. So he's very talented. He was my studio manager down at Harmony, now where we're working out of as well. You've seen videos from Harmony. For instance, yesterday's video was filmed at Harmony. If you didn't already see that, please check out the Roswell video. Please hit that like button on that one as well. So firstly, if you haven't already, please like and share. God bless coffee, yes. Please like and share. Thank you. There's 300 odd people watching. That's amazing. I really, really appreciate it. I see we have 108 likes. If you could hit that like button, that would be absolutely outstanding. And we're going to give away Phil's Mixing in the Box course. This is really amazing course because Phil is very instinctive and thinks really, really well. He just thinks very smart and simple and intuitive. And like many of us, like myself and many of you watching, he's also a multi-instrumentalist, that he plays a lot of different instruments. He's like me. He's a guitar player, piano player, bass player, drummer. He's a much better drummer than I am. So when we do stuff together, he tends to be the drummer. I'll only get on the drums in those situations that you've seen me do videos where I don't have a real drummer available, because I only play drums to record. I've never actually sat and practiced. Serves me right. Anyway, so that explains my... thank you, Gauthier. I appreciate it. So what I want to know then is, are you Waves plugins users? If you are a Waves plugin user, you don't have to be. If you're not, say, no, I don't use Waves. But if you are a Waves plugins user, I'd like to know what you use. As you know, my favorite go-to Waves plugins on every mix that I do is always an MV2. Always the MV2 and the R-Bass. The R-Bass and the MV2 gets used so much, it's ridiculous. I actually got the MV2 on the vocal comp here, which is unusual for me, but I used it in this instance. So we got the MV2 on there. I'm also using the R-Bass on the bass sub. I didn't use the MV2 on the bass itself because it's fairly evenly recorded, and it didn't seem to need it. So if you are a Waves, Joseph says he abused Waves plugins, and if you don't use Waves, that's fine. Just let us. If you do, I would like to know what you use. Clint says he wants to put something under the Christmas tree. So, which ones do you use? And you can be entered. Matt picks this regularly, so at random. So, if you don't use Waves yet, that's absolutely the Renaissance package, the L2, MV2, Vocal Rider, RVox, R-Bass C4, CLA bundle, CLA stuff. That's great. Don't use Waves yet. Not a Waves user, but a sad face. H delay. Yeah, the R bass is amazing. REQ. Remember, everyone can enter. So if you don't, big fan of waves. Love the new mastering. Remember, everyone can enter. So if you don't use it, you can say, no, I don't. You still entered. This is picked at random. Dave Merkel says, I have Waves plugins. A better question might be, what plugins don't you have? That's funny. 2500. I use the 2500 a lot. I've been criticized for saying this, but I think the Waves API 2500 is more useful than the actual hardware. I find I use it more often than I would use the hardware. Now, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of API stuff. If you look over there, you'll see graphics, your 550s, 560s. I have a lot of API, and I love it. I have 312s. I love it. I use it all the time. When I go to Sunset Sound, their consoles are loaded with API graphics. They are phenomenal. They are loaded with API EQs, 550s, 560s, A's, B's. I love it. Everywhere you go. However, there's something about the 2500 plugin. It's great. Hey, Warren, would you consider to arrange a community meeting in LA or somewhere else to meet and share stuff and connection, have a great time? Patrick from Sweden. Yes, definitely. I'm doing 2 master classes at my own studio. I only open up the master classes to Academy members, just so you know. I don't advertise them in the wonderful world of the internet. I just don't. We just do it inside for Academy members. As you know, the Academy is pretty affordable, but yeah, we just do it for Academy members. We've done, there'll be the 3rd ones we've done here. We've done 3 here, so 2 more. There'll be 3 total. We've done 1 at Sunset Sound. We did 1 in Nashville, and we're going to do another 1 at Sunset Sound. We're going to do 1 at Hansa Studios in Germany. We are doing a lot of these masterclasses. And you really do get your hands dirty. You get to mix, you get to record, and most importantly, you get to share the community. And I think we'll build this up to something that's more regular, where we can meet once a year. I do think Nashville's a great place to meet because it's affordable to travel to and stay. But we could also do it in LA. Okay, so 2,500 people are loving that. DBX 160, 2,500. A lot of people loving the 2,500. That's right, Emma. Don't worry. 54 is young. Never too late to get started making music. Good to have you here. Well, I hope that you get to record your first track soon. I think it'll be amazing. And Emma, just hang out. There's a lot of people, a lot of great people here that can help. And once again, you're never too old and you're never too young. Oh, Ryan Kerwin won something. Look at that for the API 550. It's nice. I see Ryan's comments all the time over the years. So that's nice to see him win something. I don't know if Matt's aware of that, but that's great. Congratulations, Ryan. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to keep listening and see if there's any other plugins that I want to open up before we get into automation. And I'm also open to any suggestions. So let's start from like the solo out.
Yeah, whoa. Dressed but in shadow, you advance across a room of failed addiction, and you've got me jonesing harder now. So take me down again, moaning, screaming, don't pretend. When I hear my name through gritted teeth and a heavy breath. Whoa, lose yourself with me and you, and tell me what you wanna do, and we'll dance.
All right, I'm going to listen to something. Now, this is going to be a nice little tip here for you guys and girls to check out. So I'm soloing the drums, and I'm going to go to the build. First of all, the toms in isolation in this fill here without in solo. Have a listen.
Jonesing harder now.
Are absolutely outstanding. Now, we often talk about automation, and everybody, there's 1,000 YouTube videos and there's 1,000 YouTube channels talking about volume automation, and sometimes they get into pan and stuff like this. What makes a really great mix for me is not to be afraid to automate plugins. And why do I want to do it? Well, have a listen. Here, listen how beautiful these toms sound in this fill. It's just gorgeous. Look how wonderful they sound. I mean, they sing. They absolutely sing because it's got the R bass on it. It's beautiful. Take that R bass off and now have a listen. And again. I don't know a better ad for R bass than that. Okay, however, go to this section here. There, I'm sort of regretting it, thinking, it's too much boom, because put the bass in. Firstly, I'm thinking to myself, I need to lock up that bass a little bit more. The drums are a little head, but I like that. You know, when you listen to great drummers or classic drummers, such as, you know, the very wonderful Keith Moon, when you listen to him play, what he would do is, what Keith Moon would do was rush fills going in, and it adds to excitement, like dun 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 dun. Oh yes, in the mix, talking to Big Bad and Back. So in the mix, Michael from In the Mix is watching. Michael and I have a video series coming out in the not too distant future. We have an interview which is coming out, hopefully, I think next week. I think our wonderful video editor, Walter, has already edited it. I haven't reviewed it yet, Michael, but I think it's fantastic. I'm sure it will be. And we're going to announce a video series. And the thing about our video series is it's going to be across the pond. Michael is exceptionally talented and doing exceptionally well due to that great talent. He's a wonderful communicator and an amazing mentor to so many people. He works in FL Studio and he lives in the Highlands of Scotland, fairly near to Inverness. I mean, that's the nearest sort of major town or city. I, on the other hand, live in Laurel Canyon in Los Angeles. So we're pretty far away from each other. Let's just say it's about, you know, he's over there, up there, and I'm all the way down there in the southwest. So I'm like southwest and he's like, pretty much northeast, although he's on the Meridian line. So technically he's pretty much in the center of the world if you want to talk about the Meridian line. But anyway, my point is like we are thousands of miles away from each other and we use different DAWs and we have different skill sets. It's not to say that he doesn't know how to play and record guitars. He does know how to play and record guitars. And it's not to say that I don't know how to program synths and stuff like that. I do. I do a lot of program music. However, it is plain for those of you to see that I am a musician that grew up recording live guitars, etc. I did DJ in the 90s. I did do EDM stuff. I did dance music. So I actually do have all that string to my bow. However, Michael is a wizard at it. Michael is insanely good at it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a series of videos together where you see the clash of those two worlds. I think clash sounds negative. I don't mean it like that, but you're going to see the two worlds come together. It's going to be an amazing series. We're going to try our darndest to use affordable equipment that any of you can get. And you're going to get to see how it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're going to be able to work with other people. And we're going to use two different softwares, two different DAWs. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to put some fades in here and see what it's like. You'll see I'm just using Beat Detective just for the fades. It's just a quick, easy. You can do batch fades, but what I like about this is I can control my cross length fade area. I just know this really easily, but you can do it with batch fade. There's one really behind here. It's tough because the drums are a little ahead. But like I said, I want to preserve the excitement. I don't want to flatten it out totally. That Keith Moon rushed fills, the John Bonham late downbeats. These are things that I encourage in real musicians. Yeah, can you believe I used to DJ? I would DJ doing like stuff that was cutting edge in England at the time. Massive Attack, Left Field, you know, all of that stuff in the 90s. So, why was I talking about automating plugins? Well, I'm tempted to see what it's like if I shave off some of the intensity on the build just for the floor tom when it's building. So what I'm going to do here is we'll go to auto, we'll select, hopefully you guys and girls can see this, see intensity, and I'm going to add it here. So just for this section only, I'm going to highlight it, going to go to the intensity. And just for this section only, but not the last one, believe it or not, I'm going to turn it down. So why am I doing this? Well, I'm automating a plugin because I love the sound of the single hits. Listen to this. I mean, that is gorgeous. If I turn it off, it's just nowhere near as good. However, on the build, I don't need as much of the low end. I feel like I can actually now turn it up, believe it or not, because the low end isn't that much. So if I come out of group a second, I'm going to turn this up, and I'm actually going to exaggerate what I like about it. So I'm going to exaggerate the build a little bit. So now I'm able to turn it up, but I've reduced the low end. This is automation at its finest. This is what we're doing. We're not only automating a build, we're automating the low end. Sir Egmont Fartelot, yes, he is in Hampshire. Not too far from where I was born and brought up. Love it! Now I hear that, but I've automated so the low end isn't intense, but I've turned up the floor. Now let's have a listen in context and see if I have to duck anymore.
Pretty teeth and a heavy breath. Whoa.
To be honest, I got a little carried away there, didn't I? A little carried away. So let's just, I didn't need, he is already playing with enough intensity. I don't need to build it as much. So I'm actually going to reduce it right now.
Teeth and a heavy breath. Whoa. Lose your...
You see how that? And then on that last hit, it comes back up to full intensity. So that last one's and rings out on the R bass. So for me, that's a subtle thing, but automating your plugins. It's not just all about volume. It's not all about stuff. This is the difference. When I was only mixing on SSLs, when people were only mixing on SSLs, they would do these moves. They would do these EQs, boosts, and cuts and all this kind of stuff. But you used to have to put them into a separate channel and then flip between channels and do moves. It was so complicated and difficult to do this. Now it's so much easier. Okay, let's have another listen to that section.
I need Jones in harder now, so take me down again. Moaning, screaming, don't pretend. When I hear my name through gritted teeth and a heavy breath. Whoa.
I'm just going to listen to something subtly. I'm listening to the snare here. So it looks like I took out the grace note here. Let's put that back in. See what it sounds like.
Now.
Yeah, I don't know why I took that out. You know, we live and learn. So what I'm going to do is just on that section there, I'm going to heal it. I'm actually going to do this. Sometimes it's just easier to delete and then put it back.
Harder now.
So much better. Now have a listen.
And you've got me jonesing harder now. So take me down again. Moaning, screaming, don't pretend. When I hear my name through gritted teeth and a heavy breath. Whoa, lose yourself with me and you, and tell me what you...
Yeah, I love ribbons on overheads. Do that all the time. Yep. This is where I think that this is where the artistry, and there's so many people that try to reduce music to technical all the time. All the time. I also think it serves manufacturers to think that way, because then they can say, oh, our microphone or our this or our that is like totally pure and it does this. The reality is, and it really is obvious, but the reality is like that's not how we think. That's not how. Basically, the great thing about an engineer is if you give them a 4038 or a FET 47 or a modern microphone, they will know where to put it and what it's good for. Comparing 15 different mics in the same position doesn't really make any sense unless they're all trying to be the same mic. What I mean by that is if you're making a 47 clone and one is 5,000 and one is 50,000, or 550,000, then yes, they're supposed to be using the same components, then they're like for like. But if you're going to take different manufacturers, it doesn't make any sense. Different styles of microphones, it makes no sense. Because then what's happening is you're taking out the fact that a great engineer will go, oh, no, I would never put that mic on a kick drum. But the person doing the test is like going, it doesn't sound good on a kick drum. But the engineer's like, yeah, I know, we don't put that mic on a kick drum. I think that this is an interesting thing because like ribbons on overheads are amazing when you're in really super, super bright rooms and you have a drummer who's smashing the overheads and the cymbals so hard. I will always reach for ribbons. That is the skill set. But if you were to put a ribbon on an overhead and compare it with a U67, everybody would say, oh no, the ribbon doesn't sound good on the overhead. I saw a technical video which told me the ribbon doesn't sound as good. It's like, yeah, but it does when super bright room, super aggressive drummer, super bright, thin sounding cymbals. So that's the skill set. Yeah.
The gritted teeth and a heavy breath.
I wouldn't start from scratch, Clay, when do a mixed question. I would just give yourself some perspective. Stand back, allow yourself a little bit of time away from it, then come back with fresh ears, and you'll probably hear what the issues are. It's that being in it too much that can really kind of ruin it. You just need to take a day off and then listen to it and try not to obsess about it. I know that's difficult. I remember the first time I only mixed in a box and did a course about it. It's one of the courses that's up in the academy. When I did that course, I actually stressed for the first time in years, like couldn't sleep, didn't know what was going on because I wasn't at that point mixing in a box like I am regularly now.
A heavy breath, whoa, lose yourself with me and you.
I still think I have to bring the intensity down a little bit, just a bit. So I'm going to bring it down a tiny bit more. There's a part of me that even wants to do the same thing with the bass. Let's have a look. It's not the best bass performance. I think it's me. Yeah, it's not the best bass performance. Okay, so a couple of things. Let's increase the build just a bit, just a tiny bit. So what I'm doing here is exaggerating it. Again, automation. There's a part of me that's tempted to do a similar thing that I did on the R bass on this.
Heavy breath, whoa, lose yourself with me and you, and tell me what you wanna do, and we'll dance, we'll dance.
I don't think this is a retrack situation because it's just a subtle little thing, and I can move that around if necessary.
Heavy breath, whoa, lose yourself with me and you, and tell me.
But I do agree with the point. That's a very, very good point. If something was truly bad, it wasn't just kind of fixable with a bit of automation, I'd just plug in the bass and replay it if this wasn't working. Cliff says one of Warren's key points is in his top 10 is not taking breaks. Yeah, you definitely need to take breaks. I agree.
Teeth in a heavy breath. Whoa, lose yourself with me and you, and tell me what you wanna do, and we'll dance. We'll dance. Till the morning.
Kid Friendly's asking me about Black Veil Brides live DVD. Hey, Michael, the vote is in. Yes, please vote for us on the Tech Awards, the Education Awards. A lot of that, I think most of that is live. I personally recorded it. I don't know if I was credited as recording it, but I recorded it with my old engineer Sam, and we did it down. We actually had 2 rigs going. We did one rig at the front of house and one from monitor, so we had versions on both ones, and that was at the Wilton. I was trying to think, and yeah, we recorded it live, and then we came back and mixed it here.
Now, so take
And he's a pretty darn good singer, let's be honest. He's a pretty amazing singer. And, you know, they're a modern rock band, so they're super, super tight. They're not a blues influenced band, they're a modern rock band. So it was like really rock tight. I mean, if you've seen Black Veil Brides live, it's super percussive and concussive and smashes you over the head. I mean, they really, really are amazing. Thank you. So, yeah, Matt, could you put up the voting again? Let's have another listen.
pretty teeth in a heavy breath. Whoa, lose yourself with me and you, and tell me what you wanna do, and we'll dance. We'll dance.
Okay, sounding really good. I'm listening to that tom there sounded a bit cardboardy. Let's see what's going on and why that is. I think if you haven't already, please hit the like button as well. Vote and hit like. That would be amazing. There's 300, 400 people on here. That'd be amazing if you could all hit like. It's pretty good. In the track, it's solo, it sounds better. Let's have a listen to that floor. I think it's the floor. I might want to just see if I can... Let's pull this across and see what happens. See, what's happening there is we're getting this psss of the cymbal. So what am I going to do? Let's have a listen. So that you can hear the low decay going on, but the cymbal's bleeding into it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this chunk here. We're going to go to Audio Suite. We'll grab an REQ from Audio Suite. Only needs to be mono. It's just one source. And we're going to go to like less than 1K. Okay. Thank you, Cliff. Thank you, Trollstream. We're going to go and we're going to process it. So now everything, not too strong, but everything about 800 is gone. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is, because I don't want all the cymbal in there, but I want the decay. So you see, I'm going to crossfade into it. And then another crossfade here. Now let's have a listen. Let's get this a little further. You know what? It's a little bit of going on there, but let's have a listen to what it sounds like in the track. I think with the overheads, it sounds great. Beautiful. So now I've got a little bit more of that decay. We'd shorten the tom to fit the, you know, where the cymbal was coming in. But the problem with that is, it was killing off the ring of the tom. So let's have a listen a bit more. I'm going to move back a little bit. That one doesn't bother me quite so much. Let's listen to it in context. Still sounds a little cardboardy to me. I'm pulling out quite a lot of 350. I'm going to exaggerate it a bit more on both. That's my reverb. Here's my tom sub. It's pulled out quite a lot there as well, a bit more. Sometimes it's like you want to look and you think, oh, I should put a sample against that. You know what I mean? But I think in this instance, I'm going to let it go. I think we've pulled out a little bit more and I'm quite happy with it. Please, as ever, please like. And if you're new on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. That'd be absolutely amazing. Have you subscribed? We usually do 2 of these a week, 2 live streams. And we're doing increasing live streams now in the Academy as well. So if you're an Academy member, we're doing Mixed Critiques live. I think that's the plan tomorrow, to do one of those. Hello, Anton in Italy. You know what inspired me on this song? And it's interesting, it's exciting. This week, Mix Magazine's featuring a couple of guys that we, this month, Mix Magazine's featuring a couple of guys that are mentors of mine and that we have featured hundreds of times on our channel. And it's great to see them acknowledge just how amazing these guys are. And that, of course, is Jack Douglas and Shelley Yakus. Mix is a veritable bastion. It's been around for decades. It's one of the, with Sound on Sound and other magazines, I don't want to just pick out that, but one of those kind of magazines that many of us have read over the years and really have admired. And it was just really exciting to pick up a copy and see 3 things that really was wonderful. Eric Valentine, we just went to his studio yesterday and filmed something, so you're going to love that. But also that Jack Douglas and Shelley Yakus are featured in it, and I'm really great to see them and acknowledge him. Acknowledge 2 of those guys, which I think are giants of the music industry. I'll check out that, Preston. I'm not sure. Maybe you're right. But anyway, to cut a long story short, why am I mentioning it? Well, this to me is kind of a New York kind of sounding track. It's that sax, it's that classic kind of almost Saturday Night Live band feel. One of the things that I've really enjoyed with working with Jack is like mixing some of his productions. When I mix his stuff, is he loves this kind of thing. He'll put percussion in there. He'll put some congas in it. His son, by the way, is he's got a couple of sons, and both of them are world class. One of them is a world class engineer, and the other one's a world class drummer. Colin Douglas. Look him up. That's Colin. He's a world class drummer. He's been nominated several times for Grammys. I think he won a Latin Grammy recently-ish, a couple of years ago. If not, he gets nominated all the time. And when we're doing productions together, it's one of those things where he always brings the New York to it. When I listen to John Lennon Double Fantasy, it sounds like New York to me. It sounds like me being a little kid and watching late night when I could sneak in with my parents in the front room and see them watching Saturday Night Live. And I loved it. You know what I mean? That sort of saxophone, kind of funky grooves, all performers, you know, everybody's an amazing musician. All right, so I want to do another giveaway, and then we're going to get automation-tastic. So the giveaway is going to be for Phil Allen, who we were talking about is an amazing producer and engineer, family friend, engineer friend of mine who was my personal engineer for many years and co-producer. His course, Mixing in the Box, which is wonderful. We're going to give that away. And if you stick around to the end and you don't forget to like and share, you can also win. You can also win a free year membership to the Academy and get a whole heck of a lot more than that as well. So please, as ever, hit the like button, subscribe. And what I'd like to know, and I think we talk about this all the time, what I'd like to know is what DAW you're working in. I've asked this a couple of times before, but I think it's the reason why I'm asking now, because Michael from In The Mix is obviously in FL Studio and I'm in Pro Tools predominantly. All you have to do, Michael, is tell us what DAW you're using. And also, please, of course, don't forget to hit the like button. I see we have 308 people live at the moment. If you can hit that like button, that would be amazing. Tell us what DAW you're using. And if you don't have a DAW and you're not using one, you can enter still. I haven't got one yet. I work on tape. I work in a hard drive system. I have a Roland VS-880 cassette 4-track. I'm only recording into my phone. It doesn't matter what you use. I just want to know, really want to know. 308 people watching, 324 people watching. Let's get those likes up to over 300. That would be absolutely amazing. Please hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Okay, listening from the top. All right, I'm going to listen from the top, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to do automation as we go. So if you're missing it, feel free to come back and watch this section again. I think we're at, where are we? Let's have a look. We're at 57 minutes and 20 seconds. Here we go.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. We push and pull and won't let go. It's a never-ending merry come and go round once more. And oh, you're so insatiable, so take me down again. Moaning, screaming, don't pretend. Wanna hear my name through gritted teeth and a heavy breath. Just lose yourself with me and you, and tell me what you wanna do, and we'll dance along the satin till the morning. Heaven knows you're what I need, and I can only hope that what you see is you and me, and never letting go.
Okay, so what did I do? Were you paying attention there? So I brought up the sax. So go back and have a listen. So this is the sax the first time it comes in.
We push and pull and won't let go. It's a never-ending merry come and go round once more.
So actually that first one could come up a little bit more.
Pull and won't let go. It's a never-ending merry come and go round one.
Again, I'm reluctant to use compression on it because as soon as I compress that, I'm going to have to go in and rewrite all of the volumes on this, some of which may be quite good. This is where compression's great when you want everything to be evenly loud, hitting you in the face, great for EDM, great for metal, great for lots of different things. But in this instance, I want to preserve some of the dynamics, but if he's too quiet, I'm going to bring him up. So that's the first thing I did. The second thing I did was give myself a little bit more verb on the snare in the chorus. And I'm also going to do a similar thing on the vocals in the chorus.
And know you're so insatiable, so take me down again. Moaning, screaming, don't pretend. Wanna hear my name through gritted teeth and a heavy breath. Just lose yourself with me and you, and tell me what you wanna do. And we'll dance along the satin till the morning.
All right, we're losing Eric. Eric is going to Capitol Studios. I'm going to be joining him there in about half an hour. I'll be leaving in about half an hour. Okay, so now I'm copying over this automation, which is just a reverb. Now, reverb 1 is our longer reverb. Reverb 2 is our shorter one. I'm not sure if I need it to be quite so hot at the end there, so I'm not going to put it on the very end.
Whoa, lose yourself with me and you, and tell me what you wanna do, and we'll dance, we'll dance.
So now I'm bringing up the reverb on the snare there quite considerably, but I'm going to duck it after the sax solo because the instrumentation starts coming out. I'm not going to forget to do that also on the snare in the second chorus.
And just keep going, so take me down again. Moaning, screaming, don't pretend. Wanna hear my name through gritted teeth and a heavy breath. Just lose yourself.
Peter was saying something about the snare at the end. Let's have a listen. Maybe I missed it. That all feels good to me. I'm sure it will come up next time I'm listening. I'll keep it in mind. Now, I haven't wanted to automate the bass, believe it or not. Normally, typically, I would push the bass up a little bit in the choruses. I'm going to go, again, I think we're preserving more of the performance. And I think in this instance, the reason why I'm not automating the bass is because it's fairly evenly played and it's digging in. We're only using our bass and we're not using any compression on the bass, strangely enough. So the dynamics, which are subtle, but they're there and they're maintained by the bass player. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't one of those one-size-fits-all videos like how to EQ your low end. It's not like that. It's not how we think. What's going on here is like this song and this song alone does not demand that I do extra compression on the bass. It already is performed and compressed the way that I want it to be. There will be many, many other songs which are super dense that I want to compress it harder, and then I'll be forced into using volume automation because I won't be able to get the bass up in the chorus because it just plays heavier and it will just compress more. Remember that when you're using compression aggressively, the harder you play, it doesn't get any louder. So you're doubling up your work. This is, and again, it's not a one-size-fits-all. This is what's good in this song. This is a performance-based song. In a more dense song, whether it be EDM or rock or anything, or even a different song by this same artist, may require me to think differently. Everything I'm doing here is specific to this song. Okay, so let's go in and get... I'm liking the vocal where the double comes in. Apart from bringing up the reverb, I haven't felt like I've needed to turn up the volume on the vocal because the double is doing that for me. But I do think that I need to go in now and think about electric guitar lead parts. And I don't at the moment want to pan it to the middle. So let's have a listen though.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. We push and pull.
So I'm going to duck a little bit under the vocal, and then I'm going to keep that little riff that he plays up after it.
Soon as your whiskey touched my lips, you set a fire to my song, and I'm gonna take it down to heaven. We push and pull and won't let go. It's a never-ending merry come and go round.
Also, ducking that helped that saxophone that I brought up as well.
It's a never-ending merry come and go round.
Okay, but I am going to push this bump, bump, bump part quite considerably. So, especially that first hit because it's a little soft. And maybe even that second one a little bit. You have a listen.
Go, it's a never-ending merry come and go round.
Let's have a listen to the performance. Nice.
Go, it's a never-ending merry come and go round once more.
I'm a little bothered by that squeak. Maybe I'm getting a little too over the top, but let's have a listen. So, because I've got some reverb and delay on it, I might just do this. So let's just... Okay, now have a listen.
It's a never-ending merry come and go round once more. And know you're so insatiable, so take me down again.
So I just took out that squeak. It's a dense-ish. There's enough instruments going on there that I didn't notice the dropout being a problem. And there is some reverb and delay on the other side, so it kind of blurred it. Sometimes it's as simple as that. A mix is doing a quick edit. So that down, squeak, squeak. I just got rid of that first squeak.
Oh, it's a never-ending merry come and go round once more. And know you're so insatiable, so take me down again. Moaning, screaming, don't pretend. Wanna hear my name through grit. Just lose yourself with me and you, and tell me what you wanna do, and we'll dance along the...
All right. One thing we've missed here, or I've missed, is the hat. I feel like the hat is coming in and is being introduced into the chorus there quite nicely. A couple of things that I like to do to the hat is, first of all, obviously we can apply a little bit of EQ, and I'm actually going to do that first. So I'm just going to go and grab an REQ and just get rid of some of the lows and the low mids. So I might just go up to about here. I don't need that bass, that kick drum in it. Okay. I want some more of the mid-range. I want the I don't want the psst. I'm not interested in jazz funky 80s. I want more mid-rangey 70s. I could actually take this to an REQ4. And this goes against like everything that you were taught from ye olden days. So I'm actually going to replicate some of that boost here and use this. And I'm actually going to get rid of some of the highs. Now it's all just mid-range. That's all it is. I'm almost using this 3.5K boost, which is super wide, as a volume control. Have a listen. So take me down. Because it's the inherent frequency I'm trying to bring out, but I don't want it. I'm very tempted to go a little lower. And what we can, of course, what we can do is we can throw up our PAs and have a quick look. So take me down again, moaning, screaming, don't pretend. Wanna hear my name through gritted teeth and a heavy. It's like 7K and 3K is like really kind of our secrets. And we've come up here, we've taken off 5. I don't know if I really want that 7 so much, but I'm gonna let myself do it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna go 7. So 7K, and I'm gonna make that pretty finite. And I'm gonna, you see what I'm doing here? A little bit of that. But I'm also going to tighten. Now, sometimes you're like, what? He's doing the same frequencies. He's crossing over. Well, it's focusing it, and it makes the cue really super tight. And then we'll go a little bit lower on there, about 3, and do some of this. So take... It's like a weird mountain, isn't it? Look at that. Mount Hi-Hattus. Mountain Hi-Hattus. So take me down again, moaning, screaming, don't pretend. Wanna hear my name through gritted. I feel like that's cleaning up the drums because I don't have that low coming out of the hat. I mean, that's aggressive EQ. I wouldn't necessarily always go like that, but considering we're not, I'm not subbing this, not doing in through any buses. I don't like my hi-hat to be too thin. I don't like it to be I like to preserve a little bit of it. So everything I'm doing here, I'm sort of backing off now. I'm backing it all off a little bit. This is generally what happens. It's a kind of a good lesson. Not kind of, it is a good lesson to like not be quite so aggressive. What you think is going to be great, sometimes you just have to go, okay, I'm doing it a little bit too much. So I'm just gentling everything out a little bit. I have a tendency, I think we all do, when we're working to get overly focused on things and get too obsessional and working in solo and not moving backwards and forwards. We all do it. I've done it in abundance so many times that I end up listening to my mix and it sounds so overly EQ'd. It doesn't seem to glue together and feel like a real band anymore.
So insatiable, so take me down again.
Also, if I bring up the overheads a little bit in this section, have a listen. Which I'm just tempted to do everywhere. If I bring those up, I'm also going to bring up the hat. I'm going to bring it up everywhere. And know you're so insatiable, so
take me down.
It's immediately made, do you hear that? Made the snare sound a little bit more natural.
And know you're so insatiable, so take me down again.
Very gentle EQ on these overheads. Please go back and watch the other videos and stuff like that. Okay, we're about 5-10 minutes away from doing our last giveaway. And our last giveaway is going to be Phil Allen's Mixing in a Box course, but it's also going to be a year's membership to the Academy, of which you get the multi-tracks of this song, and you also get mix critiques, and you get everybody helping you out. Yeah, Tom's saying Hat is not so annoying now. Exactly, it's a tough one. Hat is one of those things. Oh, somebody asked me a question. I'm sorry. What was it? Could a tube mic to distort on a vocal? I record with tons of headroom, but recently I've had a couple of instances of audible distortion on a vocal track. What could cause this, and how could I avoid it? Good question. Honestly, really, it depends. I like tube distortion. I like hearing it. It's just about where is it? Are you getting it like super randomly? Look, I don't like to be negative about any particular products, but there's one particular tube microphone that's been out for decades. It was a reissue of a really famous one, and it did not overdrive. It either was clean or horribly distorted. Most mics now, the technology's got to a point where you can start to overdrive it and make it sound really natural, tube or not. For instance, that's what I enjoyed about the Roswell mic yesterday. Go back and watch yesterday's video. By the way, there's a giveaway if you are interested in that mic. And what I liked about it is I had two different singers. Liana James, who's like super gritty, powerful singer, and she like gave me this amazing kind of vocal performance and drove the mic super, super hard. But other people like David don't have that power ripping kind of voice. So it really comes down to like what you're looking for. But I understand your issue. You don't want unwanted distortion. If the capsule itself is distorting, that's not good. Not the capsule. If a capsule's like going pa, 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 that's not good. But a lot of tube mics have an inherent saturation, distortion. There's so many different things that people call it. That is good. It gives you extra second and third harmonics. It makes things sound better. So hopefully that answers Dylan. I think you might be getting the two things that can be nasty is an inexpensive mic pre that maybe doesn't distort really well. Because most mic pre's of any description are good up until distortion. As soon as they start to distort, like Matt McGlynn was telling us, if they start distorting, the cheaper ones don't necessarily sound good. But up until a certain gain, they're pretty decent results. With inexpensive equipment, you can get decent results and then do your distortion using saturation plugins. And in that way, you'll get a more controllable thing. So I think for you, Dylan, I would just record it with less gain and pad your mic. So go up to your mic with your singer and just pad it. If it's got a 10 dB pad, stick the 10 dB pad on it. If it's got a 15, whatever it is, put that pad in first of all, and then go up to your mic pre and maybe click it down. Most singers on my 1073 are between 20 to 40 dB on, and 40s for the really quiet kind of verses, and then 20s for the wah choruses. Now, don't get me wrong. There are many examples where I come up a lot louder, and there's many examples where I go a lot quieter. But typically, not exactly, but typically on my 1073s, or in this instance, the BAE 1028, or my 1173, we're usually between about 20 to 40 dB. So, but that's not an absolute. I wouldn't want to be quoted as saying that because every singer is going to be different. But just be careful. Definitely be careful. If you want a clean vocal, pad your mic and then make sure you're not clipping the gain on your mic pre. Now, I like clipping the gain on my mic pre, but it's very controlled and I know when and how to use it. But if you're trying to get that super clean vocal, those are the two things I'd recommend. Okay. Great question. Thank you, Dylan. All right. Okay, yeah, so don't forget to go to the Roswell one. And also, Matt, please put up the Tech Awards Please vote for us in the Tech Awards. I really, really would appreciate it. That would mean a lot. And we're going to do our last giveaway. So the giveaway is not only to win Phil Allen's Mixing in the Box course, which is really amazing, but also to win a year's membership to the Academy, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. So you get to do both of those things. Please hit that like button. I see there's 300 odd people watching. That's absolutely amazing. And we have 253 likes. So we can get up to over 300. That'd be amazing. And also, please, if you haven't already, subscribe. Okay, what do I want to know? We've already asked about mics, we've asked about plugins, we've asked about DAWs, but I am tempted to go back to a mic question. Have you voted as well? Please vote for us. That would be absolutely amazing. That would be amazing. I do want to know what mics you've got. Headphones, people are talking about headphones. Okay, that's a good question. Sorry. What are you monitoring on most of the time? I like the sound of transformers distorting, being driven hard. I don't know if that's called distorting, but being driven hard. So can you let us know, how are you listening? What are you mainly mixing on? Is it monitors or is it headphones? If it's monitors, what do you use? If it's headphones, what do you use? Thank you, Emily. Thank you, everybody that's voted for us. Clint voted for Eric specifically. I would too. So the question is, Ron, the question is, what do you normally monitor on? Is it monitors or headphones? If it's monitors, what are you using? If it's headphones, what are you using? That would be amazing. And thank you everybody who said they voted. That really means a lot. And now I'm going to keep listening. And remember, this is to win not only Phil's course, it's also to win a year's of membership. Thank you, Dylan. That's amazing. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to be able to help. And thank you for buying us lunch.
A failed addiction, and you've got me jonesing harder now. So take me down again, moaning, screaming, don't pretend. When I hear my name through gritted teeth in the head.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go in and get this guitar solo up.
And we'll dance along the satin till the morning. Yeah, whoa. Ooh. Oh. Dress but in shade.
All right, so first thing I'm doing is bring it up dramatic. Let's have a listen.
Yeah.
It's almost there, but there's two things we have to do. We have to get it out of the way of the vocal. So let's bring it up a little bit more under the vocal. So we're going in here, and Glenn Fricker is calling me. He doesn't know that I'm on a live stream. So I can bust him. He wasn't watching. So two things. So we just automated that solo up there. I'm also going to duck the vocal a little bit, but I'm going to do one of two things. I'm not in pre-fade send to my reverb. But I'm going to increase the effects there. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take the lead vocal. Let's have a listen. I don't want the vocal to necessarily go away in as far as presence, but let's just go to the end there with the breath and everything of both the lead and the double and bring it down. So both of these coming down, and they're going to come down quite dramatically. So if I listen to it together, you're going to be like, what, Warren, what are you doing? But have a listen. Maybe a little much. Okay, but what we are going to do now, and I'm going to group all of the vocal effects together. So we'll call it Vox. This is a group, FX. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to go crank them. And what we have here is a little bit of automation. So let's do this. Okay. All right. So what I do now as a group will be the whole. So now I'm going to crank this up. Have a listen. And I'm going to crank up the end of it. Fold it back down, like so. Split the difference on the volume on the vocal, so it's not quite so quiet. Let's see what we got. Worked wonders for me. Now let's do a similar thing. Let's have a listen here. So for here, so we're going to bring down the lead a little bit in here, and we're going to take our group of effects stuff here and crank these a bit. Let's have a listen. So what I want there is I want that classic kind of lead guitar player with soloist. So the lead guitar player is stepping forward and the singer's stepping back from the mic and going, whoa, whoa, whoa. And that's what we're doing. Okay. Did we get a winner? Did we get a winner? Did we get a winner? Did we choose a winner? Did we choose a winner? I don't know if we did. Here it is, William. Okay, everybody, you will absolutely rock. I have to get in a car and get over to Capitol. This has been absolutely amazing. Thanks, everybody. Thank you ever so much. This has been really, really amazing. I really, really appreciate all of the kind words. I appreciate this amazing community that we have. Everybody here is like helping each other out. It's really spectacular. So have a marvelous time recording and mixing. Thank you to the new Academy member that we have. Thank you, everybody, for being so unbelievably supportive of each other. This is truly wonderful. What an incredible community. If you haven't already and you're an Academy member, don't forget to download these multi-tracks so we can talk about them inside of that as well. Thank you ever so much for watching. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, all the kind of good stuff. If you can, go check out producelikeapro.com. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. And I'll see you all again very, very soon.